already know just where I be, dog. I ain't being cocky, but Philly what I'm reppin'. Watch me check it like it's hockey. I ain't tryna get it twisted. If you get it, then you got me. If you with it, cool. If not, I'll treat you like a Tamagotchi. I'ma let you down point. Yeah, I never disappoint.
What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to episode number 26 of the Seattle Attack franchise mode. If you guys remember last time, we were off to a pretty kind of shaky start, right? What was our record? It was 18, 13, and 4. So essentially 18 and 17. So we're going positive, yes, but we can always do better. But after scouting out some potential trades, some potential signings, potentially of call-ups, I kind of thought of one move that actually made sense, right? I had them all written down. I was like, okay, if we trade, these pieces for this piece, it would work. But I feel like we're also in the point of the year where it's extremely crucial to get ahead in points and to get as many points as possible before the trade deadline. So that way we can be in a good spot going into the playoffs. So we have one trade we're going to make today. It is not big at all. I mean, it's kind of big for what we're getting, but it's not really big for what we're giving up. So we are going to be trading Brett Ritchie. Now, if you guys remember, Brett Ritchie has kind of been one of my favorite players because he's kind of been really, really good for us, right? I mean, we got him, I don't know, a few years. It was probably like 5 years ago, to be honest. I mean, we had him during all the good years, and that 50-point year he was on our team. He was playing, I think, on the first line at one point with, I think it was, Spooner or Bearchi or somebody. And, he declined a little bit this year. He's still doing really well this year. However, if we get rid of, or let me just put it this way. If you look at our lineup, which I can go to in a second here. If you look at our lineup here, there's no real place I can really just bring in like a superstar, right? I mean, I could always move, some guys around or even throw them in a trade. But the one spot that's kind of like you can definitely upgrade that is our third line right wing spot. And unfortunately, I love I love Ritchie. Ritchie has been absolutely incredible for us. And if he's up for free agency after this year, I think he is, right? He's got 1 year left. Yeah, he's got 1 year left. So potentially, depending on how the rest of the season plays out, we might try to get him back, to be completely honest. I mean, I've absolutely loved having him. He's proved a lot of people wrong, especially with the 80 overall. And he's exceeded my expectations. But unfortunately, to get something, you got to give up something. So he is the first part of this trade. The second part is a defensive prospect. I kind of don't even want to try to pronounce this guy's name. But Kale Wendhandle. I probably butchered that really hard. But 6th-round draft pick. 53 overall to start. Most likely will not play for us for a few years. And especially getting the caliber of player we're going to get, we have to give up something to get something. But the last thing in this trade is Pittsburgh's 3rd-round draft pick. I figured I won't be completely useless and just kind of throw in a this year's pick, especially because, I don't know if you guys noticed, we have a lot of picks this year, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 picks this year. So I think we're going to be fine as far as getting prospects goes. Plus, Pittsburgh is doing very, very well. So their pick is probably going to be later in the round anyway, which would equate to another 4th-round pick anyway. So we're giving up Ritchie, Wendhandle, and a 3rd-round pick from this year. We're going to trade them to Chicago, who aren't doing horrible, but they're still, back behind. I think their last 10, they were doing awful too, if I'm not mistaken. But you know what? It gives us a chance to get a player that could definitely be beneficial for us. And you probably saw it on the trade block, but they had a couple different players that I wanted to get. But we're going to acquire Mike Hoffman. And he's got 1 year left, $7 million. It doesn't really affect us much. But it kind of works perfectly. I mean, the trade value looks kind of perfect. I mean, I didn't measure it out or anything. But this trade looks perfect. Out of all the trades I could potentially found, either guys had too much money for too many years, or they had a multi-year deal, or, you know, there was a whole bunch of different complications, or throwing in extra stuff that I didn't want to get rid of, or whatever the case was. So I came across Mike Hoffman on the trade block, as you can see. I also saw Ryan Hartman there. He was doing similar to Richie, and Hollow's there, actually not even playing. So I figured Mike Hoffman, I mean, take a quick look at him. He's got 26 points this year. Richie has 15. So it's, again, Richie's not doing bad. It has nothing to do with him. It's only because Hoffman's going to go in his spot, potentially move up to the second line. You know, I don't really know exactly yet where he's going to fit in, but this trade looks pretty perfect, and we also need goal scoring. So will this trade go through? Oh, it actually, wow, I was not expecting that. It went through first try. Didn't have to add any other picks or players or nothing, but it works perfectly. So let's go put him in the lineup. He kind of slots in pretty well on our team, to be honest. We have kind of like a, you know, a two-way guy, a playmaker, and a goal scorer all in the same line on basically all three of our top lines. And then we have our fourth line who's doing, you know, okay. So we're just going to slot him into the second line spot. He's doing better than Lindholm and Spooner. But with the system that I just said, it kind of fits. And you know what? I guess we'll see it. If he doesn't really perform there, then I guess we'll move him out to the third line or up to the first. Or depending on what he does, you know, we'll move people accordingly. But other than that, no other changes. I've been talking long enough. Let's get up to the trade deadline, see where our team's at, you know, see if the goal scoring improves, and hopefully we could be in a better spot than where we started. All right, here we go. Let's go a month or so. Starting at December 30th. Not starting out strong. No thanks. Oh, that's right. Fitzpatrick and Berchi are still on the trade block. So if you guys see trades, that's why. Our HL team still just dominating down there. It doesn't matter who I put down there. They just dominate. We also, this is the other thing I changed. We made our team a little bit more aggressive. So before we were on defend lead, you know, like full on like defensive mode. And, you know, we were very, very good defensively. But we needed to be a little bit more offensive minded a little bit. So I did make our team just a tad bit. I think it goes from defend lead to conservative or something like that. So we jumped up a little bit just to try to get a little bit more offense going, a little bit more offensive-minded team. And it seems to be helping. 26, 17, and 5. You'll love to see that. We are in a great position for the playoffs. And plus, we still got to hold another month until the trade deadline if we want to add something else. So we put up a huge month. You know, what was that? December, I think it was. Yeah, no, January. So we had a huge month. We gained, what were we at? 40 points. We gained 17 points in the month. I believe that is very good. I didn't actually count how many games we played. But now we're up in tied for third in our division. We are 3 points off of second place and 6 points off of first. So that is a great chance that we put ourselves in. Everyone's still doing fine. Hoffman's doing well since he's joined our team. But let's continue on. Let's go another month. See what happens. We got the trade deadline coming up. You know, what is that? March 2nd. And I feel like we're going to need some defensive depth. I feel like our offensive depth is like perfect, but our defensive depth is a little weak. So once we get to trade deadline, that's probably what I'll look for. Other than that, you know, we have our goaltenders, we have our offense, you know, we have everyone we kind of need. But you know what, we could always use a little bit of depth, you know, for our teams. Just get the scouting out of the way. 26, 19, and 6. You'd love to see it. Meetings are available. Nobody cares. Portland's doing very well. I'm guessing they're close to the top of their division, if not the top of their division. And a little bit of a rough start here. We went 2 and 4 to start the month. That's not good. So a little bit of a shaky streak here. But we rebounded a little bit against Montreal and then against Anaheim. All right, perfect. Those are 2 huge games. Berchi for a first and a third. No thanks. Berchi actually kind of rebounded a little bit. He's actually doing pretty well. Let's see. We got another week before the trade deadline. We rebounded against Anaheim and Montreal and even Tampa Bay. And we're starting this. At least the second half of the month is catching up to us a little bit. Only got 1 loss to date. Trade block. I will do that real quick. And then let's get into the trade deadline. We are at the trade deadline now. We finished up, you know, the video kind of 34, 23, and 6. So 34 and 29. Still doing very well. Now, we are looking playoff bound. Let's go check the standings real quick, check the stats, see what we could use, and see what we could acquire at the deadline. After a really interesting turn of events, Mike Hoffman now leads our team in points, or at least tied with Kyle Turris. But, do we want to move up to the first line? Because Besser is still right there, only 2 points behind. Plus, Connor's up there with Turris. So, might move him up to the second line with, actually, he is already on the second line, isn't he? But do I really want to swap off Besser? Because I kind of want to keep goal scoring a little bit separate. Because we got 3 lines worth of goal scoring right now. We have Berchi, Besser, and Hoffman. So I kind of don't really want to break that up if I don't have to. But everyone else is kind of doing fine. I mean, Glass has kind of stepped up a little bit here. Our fourth line's doing fourth line stuff. That's completely fine. Let's check on our defense real quick. Shattenkirk, no surprise, he's at the top. Then we got Bigros, all right, 17 points. Logren just continues to put up points. You love to see that. Lindros is now to an 87 overall. That is incredible. Alanko putting up some good numbers. Positive 19. That's something I'm looking at really huge. Positive 19. Best plus minus as far as our defense goes. And then Goldman down there doing, Goldman things. Let's check on our goaltenders. So, Subban finally lost a game. It was only a matter of time before that happened. Fitzpatrick, still not playing horribly, but he's still not doing the best. So, honestly, this offseason, I might try to look for a better goaltender. To be completely honest, I'm going to look for a better goaltender. Because Fitzpatrick, not that he's been awful, but he hasn't really been that great. He came off of, 2 very, very good years. Kind of struggled in the first year, and he's kind of doing the same thing this year. That's going to be a goal going into this offseason. Let's take a quick look at the AHL team, and then we'll hop into the standings. Ian Scott finally shown what he can do as an AHL starter. Jaracina, though, 12-2. That is incredible. So we have a very bright future in net. However, I don't really want to go through the struggle of trying to have, a couple of backup goalies fight for the starter spot. But, you love to see that. I mean, 75 overall already. I don't know where we're going to happen, but if it's going to be the battle of the backups as the starter, then I guess that's what we're going to have to do. But I'd love to get, a secure, obviously, #1 starter guaranteed. Dobson doing fine down there. I'd like to see more points out of him if I do say so myself. But 18 points, still not bad. Let's go. Offense. All right, so Kemp has been leading the way all year long. You love to see that one. Jesper Zibanejad also performing very, very well. Looks like he wants to try to get a spot next year. Couple other guys, 50-plus points. So Bell, Hainsey, 72. How has this guy not grown? Like, look at this guy's stats, right? Starts out, he was with Pittsburgh in this year, 37 points. He was a 70 overall when we acquired him. Comes to our team, has 44 points. So I'm like, all right, he kept doing better than, our 77 overalls. And we moved him up to our second line. I think he was at our first line for a while. And then this year, he's already at 52 points. But how is he still 70? How has he only grown 2 overall since we've had him in 2 years? Doesn't really make sense. But either way, continue on. But Bell, kind of underperforming a little tiny bit there. I'd expect him to be putting up Kemp-type numbers, but I guess if Kemp's doing it, then I don't know. But our AHL team, obviously, they're doing very, very well for themselves, 42, 14, and 7. But let's get into our stats, see what's going on, and see if there's anything that we could possibly improve on at the deadline. We sit 10th overall in the entire league. We are still sitting at 3rd in our division. But we're in a very, very good spot. If you look at the Western Conference real quick, we're sitting in 5th. We're very close in points. However, with the recent form of our team, I expect the playoffs. I don't really see us missing it at all unless we absolutely choke out. But let's go through it. Let's go see what the stats are, see what we can improve on, see what's going to go on. So goals for, still at the bottom of the league, and but we're still at the top in a sense. So we're still doing very, very well as a team. However, we're not scoring enough goals, so it must be a very, very close series. Goals against. So we're a very good defensive team. We suck at offense, but yet we're winning games. Hey, as long as we're winning, I don't really care how we're doing it. But power play goals. Of course, Pittsburgh's in first. Looks like are we like midway? I think we're like midway. So the top is 55. We are at 39. So, okay. We're not doing awful, but we're also not doing very well. So, middle of pack of power play percentage as well. Penalty kill. Here's another big one. We are not at the top. We are at 80%. So, that's still very, very good. But always, if we can improve something, we can. But maybe we'll go take a look at Winnipeg's penalty kill and see if we can grab someone from them, because they're not looking towards the playoffs, and we are. So let's go check out our home and away stats and see what's happening. Here are our home and away records plus our last 10. We're 16, 12, and 3 at home, and we were 18, 11, and 3 away. So again, very good numbers, and we're 7 and 3 in our last 10. So we're looking good right now. I kind of don't want to change anything massively. I mean, again, the only thing that's really hurting us is goal scoring and penalty kill. So I don't really see us making other trades, mainly because there's no real spots open. And if there is, it might be like a third line center, maybe even try to acquire a superstar if possible. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's something I've been looking at for a while too, because Horvat kind of is inconsistent. We've talked about that before, but that's another spot I'm looking at. Goaltender, our starter goaltender, and then maybe like a really good center. So just a couple of things to keep in the back of your mind when going on with this series. But I think that's gonna be it for right now. We're in a really, really good spot. At 19 games left, we're in a good spot. We're sitting third in our division. Only a couple points back from second and first. But we do have Colorado breathing right down on our neck with, 1 point difference. But, you know what? I'm really excited for the rest of the year. As for what's going to go on at the trade deadline, probably not much of anything unless we find, like, a really, really good deal on something like we did Hoffman. And, you know what? That's going to kind of wrap it up for today. But if you guys did enjoy, hit the like button down below if you have not already. Hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.
I want you forever, even when we're not together. Scars on my body so I can